Hello, and welcome to Say It Naturally. If you've ever felt unsure about your pronunciation or hesitant about using your voice in English, you're in the right place. I'm Jenny. I'm an English pronunciation and neurolanguage coach. And in this podcast, I share insights, reflections, and simple ideas to help you feel more at ease, more confident, and more natural when you speak. And if you're a teacher, I'll also be sharing occasional teacher's notes you can take into your classroom. I'm really glad you're here. Hello, today we are talking about how to practice pronunciation with other people, even if this might feel a little awkward sometimes. Even if it does, practicing with other people is so much more helpful than just practicing on your own, especially for your listening skills. Because when we're listening to other people, we're developing our awareness at a more accelerated rate. Perhaps if you're learning on your own, you have a teacher or coach, or you are using a book and that has some audio in it, but you're probably just listening to quite a limited variety of English. Whereas if you start interacting with other people, you start listening to more variety. When we have more than one model, the different variations of the different Englishes can help open our ears, can help open our ears to different sounds because we start noticing these differences more easily. And this means that we become more able to listen to more different people. When we are listening to more people, because listening to other people speak helps our brains notice what it can't notice on its own when it's just focused on your own speech. Sometimes it can end up being that we just chat with a partner, which is absolutely fine and a wonderful thing to be doing. However, if we want to make it more purposeful practice, then let's have a think about how we can do that. This needs to be discussed with your partner beforehand, how you want to work on it, but it just needs to be something really small and simple. For example, if there's a phrase that you're not sure about, you can repeat it or adjust it, play around with the intonation or the stress in that phrase. I would say when you're working with a partner, agree on one feature of pronunciation that you want to work on together. This could be stress, rhythm, linking, intonation, whichever aspect you're wanting to focus on at that time. And it may be that you and your partner are wanting to focus on different aspects of pronunciation. That's also absolutely wonderful. Just make sure that's clear at the start and take it in turns, listening for something specific in what your partner has said. Please make sure that you don't try and correct everything. You really don't need to. Just choose one small thing to notice and comment on. When we're listening to someone else speak, we're not listening to judge them. We're just listening to raise awareness, whether that's our own awareness or our partner's awareness. So when you're listening, listen for patterns rather than specific mistakes. And depending on your focus, notice the rhythm or the stress or the flow of the language. I would see the word that I like to use here is curiosity. We want to be curious about how we're speaking and how our partner is speaking. We're not there to evaluate or judge anyone. We're listening to understand. And if you're a teacher, this is where your guidance can make a real difference. Practicing pronunciation with others can feel uncomfortable at times, but it often leads to deeper learning than practicing alone. When we speak with other people, we begin to notice patterns, rhythms, and differences that are harder to hear in isolation. And this is where you introducing pair work, pair speaking exercises, or group speaking activities can be really helpful. Again, take on board the tips in this episode, keeping the awareness raising to one aspect of pronunciation at a time. And hopefully your learners, and through this practice, your learners will feel more supported, more focused, and it will be much more useful for your learners without adding any extra pressure. So, you don't need to feel totally 100% confident before practicing with others. That will come as you do the practice. You can use simple, structured ways of speaking and listening to make shared practice feel safe, useful, and manageable. In the next episode, we'll look at something many people experience but don't always talk about. What it really means to be heard and why that can feel uncomfortable, even when you're doing well. Thank you for listening today. I hope something in this episode gave you a little more ease or a new way of thinking about your voice. And if you'd like more support with your own pronunciation or confidence, you can find me at excellenceinenglisheducation.com. I work with learners and teachers who want to feel more comfortable and natural in their spoken English. There'll be a new episode of Say It Naturally next week, and I'd love for you to join me again. Until then, take care of yourself and your voice.